welcome to the Atrium on GreenBayPackerNation.com. Today is Friday, February 13th, the day before Valentine's Day, so I thought I'd get in quickly before I gallivanted off on many a romantic escapade. Stop in quick and say hi, let you know what's been going on in the off-season for the Packers in a special edition broadcast of the Atrium. So today's top story, most of you have probably heard. This week, Brett Favre has once again announced his retirement. I hesitated to bring it up, but it does matter to Packers fans still. Even though he was a Jet, I know a lot of fans out there, it was somewhat exciting, but somewhat weird to see Brett Favre in a different jersey playing for another team. So we don't have to see that anymore. So all you people who are Brett Favre fans but a little bit conflicted because you had to watch him wear a Jets uniform, well, it may not be perfect, but he is no longer wearing the outfit of another team. He's no longer wearing someone else's jersey. And we can just wait. I think time will heal all wounds. I hope that he will come back and retire, sign a contract, retire as a Packer in the end. And over time, on both sides, including the fans, including the organization, including Brett Favre, everybody will come back together, and it will be an amicable relationship once again, and Brett Favre will profess again his loyalty to the Green Bay Packers, because I think, above all, truly, everyone wants Brett Favre to be a Packer. You know, whether you agree with everything he did before the retirement, the unretirement, etc., whether you thought he handled things well, thought he handled things poorly, certain things happen in this business, and when all is said and done, I just don't see how 1 year as a New York Jet after being traded can ever make Brett Favre anything other than a Green Bay Packer. I know legally, right now, he's a New York Jet, blah, 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 blah. But I hope that somewhere down the road, he will come back, sign a contract, and retire as a Green Bay Packer. So, but he has once again announced a retirement. Now, last time we saw him, announce his retirement and then turn around and take it back. So is that going to happen again this time? I wouldn't put it past him, but I don't think so. It seems to me like his body is the issue now. Like he feels like maybe he can't play. Now, that being said, he's got a bicep injury that does not need surgery if he doesn't play. If he were to come back and play and it would give him trouble, it may require surgery down the road. So I think that's a lot of what's holding him back right now. And it could be that all of a sudden come April, his arm starts to feel real good again. And so it's hard to say whether Brett Favre might come back. I know some have speculated that he would. Most are saying he will not. I tend to agree with those who say he will not. I think that slowly but surely he will ease into the idea of not being a football player anymore. I think he's done more and more of this here and there in the last several seasons. He doesn't spend as much time with the team, so he's on a Jets team now that he does not know everyone as well as he did the Green Bay Packers. There's not as much of a connection relationally and emotionally to the New York Jets as there was with the Packers. I think that's part of his motivation, and I think it was good to come back to the Packers last season. I really do. And so that is also part of the reason I do not think he will come back and unretire and play another season with the Jets. Some have also said he is planning to retire, get cut by the Jets, and then play for the Minnesota Vikings. If he does that, I think I will have to not be a fan anymore. I really don't think he's going to do that. I don't think that's going to happen. I hope that's not what he has in mind. And if it is what he has in mind, I hope it does not happen. That's no good for anybody. The Vikings having Brett Favre is no good regardless. So that's what I have to say about that. I know some people differ and have different points of view, but that's fine. Excuse me. But, so that's the big news, and it's not necessarily Packers news, but it's big for Packers fans. So we now can work on sort of letting that whole fiasco really simmer down and just kind of disappear, let time heal that, and let Brett come back around, and hopefully Packers fans come back around and remember the many, many, many years that he gave us and was on the field every single time the Packers took the field. He didn't sit off in the preseason. He played for us, and he brought us to the postseason so many times. And so I put a thanks on GreenBayPackerNation.com to Brett Favre once again, just thanking him for all the division, conference, and NFL titles that he's brought. And I think that's an appropriate thing to do. Most ESPN is going through this again. Brett Favre retiring. Not quite as big this time around, but definitely worthy of mention. So that is my mention. But of course, here's the big news for Green Bay Packers in this offseason so far. The signing of Dom Capers as our defensive coordinator. Now, this is a big move because it means a couple major things. The first, most important major thing is Dom Capers has announced the Green Bay Packers are going to switch to a 3-4 defense, the style of defense that the Pittsburgh Steelers have. More and more teams are moving to this 3-4, 3 down linemen, 4 linebackers, and your outside linebackers have to be able at times to put a hand to the ground, rush the passer, and take care of the run, and also drop back in coverage. So what does this mean? Will Aaron Campman still be a Packer? So far the answer is yes. Will he be a defensive end? So far the answer is no. Word from GreenBayPackers.com is that Aaron Campman will be switched to an outside linebacker position. So this is something major for us to keep our eye on and keep people informed about. But that's going to be a major change. I know the coaches are downplaying it, but I think with good coaching, that transition will be fine. But regardless of how good the coaching is, it is still going to be a major transition for certain players. It may put certain players' positions in jeopardy. It may put other players in a position to have to learn new things. For example, Aaron Campman. That's going to be big for him. I think if there's anyone who can handle it, it's Aaron Campman. There are rumors going around that we're trying to trade for Julius Peppers. I personally don't see that happening. I don't think Julius Peppers would be that much of an upgrade over a sort of converted Aaron Campman. Aaron Campman is just a fantastic person, fantastic player. I hope that he continues on with our team, picks up this new defense, and I think that that will be what's best for Green Bay in that regard. I know that Ted Thompson likes to build through the draft, so I suspect that we will pick up a couple players that could play that position. There are some linebackers in the draft coming up, but we'll talk about that later. So that is going to be a major change. I am confident in our coaching staff because that they will be able to make this change. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be relatively smooth for its scope. And the reason I say that is because of the second major thing that happened after Dom Capers was hired, is that the Green Bay Packers